Experts had predicted for decades that South Korea's population would start to shrink, and that finally started to happen in the past couple of years. Only by a few tens of thousands in a country of tens of millions. But according to a projection from the National Statistics Agency, by the year 2040, the population will have declined by 1 million people, and only about half of people will be in their working years. Yeon-seung has this report.
Statistics Korea on Thursday reported its population projections for 2040. It expects the South Korean population to shrink by about 1 million people. The population stood at about 51.8 million in 2020. But in 2040, it's likely that there will be a little over 50 million people in South Korea.
This could result in a lack of workforce, a breakdown in education or care infrastructure, or even a weakening of the national defense. So the population drop will have a ripple effect across society.
This expert also said the lack of gender equality in South Korea may be behind the plummeting population. More women are becoming breadwinners, but society lags behind, still seeing them as primary caregivers.
Western countries tackle the low birth rate problem step by step. They first had a social security system and established equal rights where genders equally share the role of caregiver. But right now, South Korea has to do it all at once. So this is a difficult problem to solve in the near future.
As a result, the share of the working age population will see a dramatic drop. In 2020, 71.5% of the population were aged between 15 and 64. But by 2040, that number will dwindle to about 55.7%. And the proportion of the population who are elderly will almost triple, from 4.9% in 2020 to 12.5% in 2040. Despite the falling population overall, the elderly population will increase by almost 5 million. And pressure will grow for the working population to support them.
This may result in a fiscal loss and increased national debt. To deal with the financial deficit, we need efforts to encourage more people to join the national pension plan and to increase the pension payments.
Foreigners are expected to take up a bigger part of the population in the future. In 2020, around 3.3% of the people living in South Korea were foreigners. But in 2040, that share is expected to grow to 4.3%. And the number of foreigners who change their nationality and become Korean may also double by 2040. But experts believe an inflow of foreign nationals won't help much in buffering the effects of the population drop. The South Korean sentiment remains relatively unwelcoming toward foreign talent. It isn't expected to change fast enough to accept foreigners to supplement the country's falling workforce. Yeon-seung, Arirang News.